You have been asking for a sign for weeks, perhaps for months, perhaps for years. And today, on this Sunday, May 31st, exactly the moment you pressed play, the universe answered. This is not a coincidence. It is not the algorithm. It is not a random video appearing on just any Sunday. This is the direct answer to a question you have been carrying in your chest for longer than you admit even to yourself. Before I say another word, I need you to do something. Put down whatever you were doing in parallel. Close the other tab, stop scrolling. Give me 60 seconds of your complete, real, undivided attention. Just 60 seconds. Because what I am about to say is not background noise. It is not content you can listen to halfway while doing something else. It is a message that has been calibrated specifically for the person you are now, on this specific Sunday, in this exact season of your life. And I need you fully here to receive this. Place your hand over your chest. Do not rush past this instruction. Really do it. Feel the warmth of your own palm against your thorax. And for just 3 seconds, 3 honest seconds, close your eyes and ask yourself without looking away. Is there something I have been asking the universe for? Something real? Something I need? Something I have been waiting for with everything I have and that I have started to believe might not come? If something tightened in your chest when you read that question, if some part of you recognized itself in it, write in the comments right now. I still have faith. 3 words as a declaration that you are still here, still reaching, still willing to believe even when the evidence has been slow to arrive. Write it before we continue, because this video has something very specific to say exactly to that part of you. And it starts now. Let me tell you something about how you arrived here today. It was not casual. It was not a coincidence. The sequence of micro-decisions, the phone you picked up at a certain time, the pause that happened at a certain moment, the inexplicable attraction to a specific thumbnail on a Sunday that seemed like any other Sunday, this sequence was not accidental. Nothing in a human life is accidental. Nothing has ever been accidental. Not for you, not for anyone. Eleanor Vance said this session after session, in thousands of regressions, over 4 decades, in cultures and languages spread across every continent where she worked. She repeated it until it ceased to be a discovery and became the foundation of everything she understood about the nature of existence. There are no accidents. What appears as chance from the human perspective is, from the soul's perspective, flawless design. Flawless design. Think about those 2 words. The universe is not improvising. It is not reacting. It is not stumbling between events, hoping it will work out. It is building. With a precision and a love that the human mind is not yet fully equipped to understand, exactly the conditions necessary for each soul to become what it came here to become, to receive what it came here to receive, to remember what it already knew upon arriving and then spent years, perhaps decades, trying to rediscover. This Sunday, May 31st, was already within your life's blueprint long before you arrived in the body you are using. The conditions of your inner life now, the specific combination of longing and exhaustion, of stubborn hope and silent grief, of quiet faith and persistent doubt, have created a precise frequency. And this video was tuned to find that frequency. You did not find this. This found you, because it was always going to find you, and because something in you, the part that is older than your name, wiser than your worry, and incapable of ever being truly lost, recognized it before your conscious mind even had time to decide. I want to name something you may have never heard named before, because the world does not have good language for it. There is a specific type of season of life that some people go through. Not all, because not all came with the type of soul task that creates this particular experience. It is a phase where on the outside everything seems manageable or even good, and on the inside everything seems to be on the verge of something huge, and you cannot see the other side. You show up, you function, you do what needs to be done. You smile at the right times and answer, when asked how you are, with words that are technically true. And beneath all this performance of a life that continues, there is a current, a deep, silent, persistent current, which is not exactly peace, nor exactly pain, nor exactly hope, nor exactly grief, but an impossible combination of all of them that no single word can carry. This current is not a symptom. It is not anxiety, though it may look like anxiety. It is not depression, though it may look like depression. It is the sensation of a soul that is in the middle of a transformation, so fundamental, so structural, so complete, that the old self is dissolving and the new self has not yet finished crystallizing. And in this space between the two versions of you, everything seems to be ending and beginning at the same time. Eleanor Vance recognized this state in session after session. She called this place the threshold, and she said something about the people who find themselves there, in this uncomfortable, disorienting, often frightening space of radical transformation that I want you to keep very close. She said that the threshold is not a punishment, it is the most sacred space of a human life. It is where the old story ends and the true story begins. And the reason it is so uncomfortable is not because something is going wrong. It is because something is going deeply, irreversibly right. And it is exactly here that I need to tell you something difficult, because it will explain much of what you have been feeling. There is a reason why you have been manifesting for years, repeating affirmations for years, giving thanks for years, and yet you look at your bank account at the end of the month and do not see the life you visualize while sleeping. And the problem, I promise, is not the universe. The universe has never failed you a single day. The problem is the field, your specific energy field, is riddled with holes in places you cannot see from the inside. Every time you ask for prosperity, and inside, in a place you no longer even notice, you whisper, "Yeah, but that doesn't happen to me." You open a hole. Every time you see your balance and feel that knot in your stomach, the knot of rejection, the knot of no, you open another. Every time someone close to you prospers and you smile on the outside while something dark bites on the inside, another hole. The universe is pouring, pouring, pouring all the time, and you are receiving it in a sieve. That is why the prosperity magnet exists. It is not just another manifestation course. It is not just another frequency audio. It is a 28-day protocol designed specifically to seal the holes in your field in the right order, at the right depth, with the exact sequence the subconscious needs to stop sabotaging your wealth. In the first block, we identify inherited vows of poverty. Yes, inherited. What your grandmother said, what your father grumbled at the end of the month, what was etched into you when you were 5, 7, 9 years old. In the second block, we do what we call the scarcity frequency inversion, where your body, not your mind, your body, learns to relax in the face of abundance instead of freaking out. In the third block, we install the magnet itself, the energy calibration that makes money, opportunity, the right connection, come in your direction without you needing to chase them. 28 days. 28 days, and either you assume you were manifesting the wrong way your whole life, or you assume it was an excuse. There is no third option. The link is down there in the description. Whoever is meant to hear is hearing now. Returning. Most people miss their own miracles, not because the miracles do not arrive. They always arrive. But because miracles do not come with the face we were taught to expect. We were told they would be dramatic, unmistakable, impossible to misinterpret, seas parting, voices coming from fire, impossible reversals of circumstances that dispense with faith because the evidence is right there in front of you, undeniable. But Eleanor Vance discovered, throughout thousands of sessions in which she accessed the deepest layer of human truth available, that miracles are almost never dramatic. They are almost always gentle, almost always silent, almost always easily dismissed by the analytical mind as coincidence, as luck, as nothing special. The email that arrives on the day you almost gave up. The stranger who says a sentence that answers a question you hadn't even asked out loud. The unexpected peace that settles in your chest on a Sunday afternoon for no apparent reason, exactly when you had every reason to feel the opposite. The door that finally closes, the one you had been forcing for years, with raw hands, exhausted, and the relief you feel at the closing. A relief that surprises you because you had been telling yourself that that was the only door. These are miracles, these everyday rearrangements easy to miss, silently extraordinary, that the universe performs on behalf of a soul that has been asking, that has been faithful, that has been continuing to put one foot in front of the other, even on the days when the ground seemed uncertain. You have already received miracles you did not recognize as miracles. They have been arriving your whole life. And this Sunday, in the specific chapter you are living now, they continue to arrive silently with precision, with the unhurried confidence of a universe that has never, not once in the entire history of your existence, stopped working in your favor. There is a question Eleanor Vance heard more than any other in 4 decades of work. It came in different forms, from different people, in different countries, in different languages. But deep down, it was always the same question. Why did this have to happen? Why did I have to lose that? Why did I have to go through that thing? Why, if the universe is truly loving and truly intelligent and truly operating in my best interest, why did it allow the thing that hurt me the most? Eleanor took this question to the deepest sessions she could access. She took it to the subconscious, to the higher self, that part of us that exists simultaneously in the physical and the non-physical, that has complete memory of every life, every choice, every agreement made before birth. She asked and asked and asked. And the answer she received, consistent over decades, was not the answer that comforted or explained in the way people expected. It was something more disturbing, more honest, more profound. The subconscious said that nothing was done against them. It was chosen by them before they arrived, at a level of consciousness they can no longer access from inside the body. They chose the precise conditions that would create the precise opening they needed. They did not choose the pain. They chose the purpose. And the pain was the only door they could find to reach the purpose from the place where they were. Read this slowly. Let it bother you the way it needs to bother you, not because it takes away your right to suffer for what you lost, or to cry for what hurt. It doesn't take it away, and it shouldn't, but because it transforms the entire meaning of your story. The loss that broke you into pieces was not inflicted by a careless universe. It was the door your soul designed before you arrived here, knowing that nothing else would open you at exactly the right point. Knowing that without that specific breaking, you would not develop the specific depth, the specific compassion, the specific wisdom that is exactly what you came here to carry. You are not who you would have been without what you went through. And who you are, this harder, softer, more conscious, more alive version that emerged from the fire, is exactly who you came here to be. I want to speak now to a very specific part of you, the part that learned through experience to hold love always at a certain distance, the part that still reaches out but prepares at the same time, opens but protects, trusts but monitors, loves but keeps a part of the heart in reserve. You learned this. You were not born this way. You were born like every soul that arrives in a human body, with a heart completely open, completely unprotected, completely willing. You learned to shield yourself, you learned to monitor. You learned half-love, which seems safer, because it costs less if what you love is lost. And Eleanor Vance discovered, in session after session, in life after life, accessed in deep trance, that this learned withholding of love, this careful and protective management of how much you allow yourself to feel, to hope, to need, is the greatest barrier between a human being and the life they came to live. Not because love leaves you vulnerable. It does. But because the vulnerability of love, this wide-open, completely disarmed state of genuinely allowing something to matter to you, is not weakness. It is the exact mechanism by which the universe delivers everything it has been trying to give you. The universe can only reach you through the open places, through the cracks, through the unprotected parts. And when you have spent years carefully mending every place that broke, meticulously reinforcing every place that feels exposed, you have built something that is very safe, very protected, and almost completely unreachable for the love that has been trying to find you. This Sunday is an invitation, not to be reckless, not to throw away the wisdom that experience has given you, but to allow a small part, chosen with care, of your heart to be a little more open than yesterday, to allow one thing to matter a little more than your protection budget currently allows, to give the universe in a single genuine and uncalculated act the access point it has been waiting for. Eleanor said, "Love is not a feeling the universe gives you. It is the substance of which the universe is made. Every time you allow yourself to truly love something, a person, a possibility, a dream, an instant, you are aligning yourself with the fundamental frequency of everything that exists. And in that frequency, nothing is withheld, nothing is impossible, nothing is too much to ask. Open yourself just a little bit more than yesterday, this Sunday. That is enough. That is everything. Faith is not the absence of doubt. No one with real faith is free from doubt. Doubt is part of it. It is part of the texture. It is part of what makes faith faith and not certainty. If you had certainty, you wouldn't need faith. You would have only facts. Faith is what you do with doubt. Eleanor Vance found faith in the most unexpected places during the decades of her work. She found it in people who were suffering enormously and had every rational reason to have abandoned it completely. She found it in people who would not describe themselves as spiritual, who would totally resist the word faith, and who, nevertheless, at the deepest level of their consciousness, operated from a rock of fundamental trust that the universe was not yet finished with them. She discovered that faith, the true one, the one forged in the fire of not knowing, does not look like peace. Not always, not reliably. It looks often like continuing to walk when you cannot see the ground. It looks like choosing a direction when all the signs have been erased. It looks like saying yes to something you cannot prove with your body, with your mind, with all the reasonable tools of evaluation that your human experience has given you. And saying yes anyway, from a place quieter, deeper, older than all those tools. And she said it clearly, she said it many times, she said it because the thousands of souls she had accessed at their deepest level confirmed it without exception. She said, faith is never wasted, not a drop. The soul that continues believing when believing is difficult is building within itself something that nothing else can build. And what is being built is not just strength. It is a capacity for joy that could not have been cultivated in any other soil. Your faith, even now, even when it is thin and tired and has been tested for longer than seemed fair, is building something in you, something for which you do not yet have words, because you have not yet arrived at the life in which you will need them. But it is being built. And this Sunday, on this specific day, something in the invisible architecture of your life just moved slightly, because you were faithful once again. There was a session in the middle of Eleanor Vance's career, not at the beginning, when everything was still astonishing, nor at the end, when she had already developed the practiced equanimity of someone who has witnessed wonders until they become familiar. In the middle, when she was already deep enough in the work to trust what she was hearing, but still open enough to be genuinely surprised. A man came to her. He had spent years feeling invisible, nothing dramatically abandoned, nothing so clear that he could explain to someone in terms that person would understand, just invisible. That private and specific invisibility of the person who has been present in rooms full of people his whole life and never felt entirely belonging, who has loved people and been loved back, but always with a light and inexplicable sensation that the real version of him, the complete version, the one with the full inner life and the depth of perception that he never managed to express entirely, had never truly been seen. Eleanor put him in a trance, and when the subconscious spoke, it said something that stopped Eleanor completely. It said, "Tell him that the reason he feels invisible is not because no one is looking. It is because he has not yet been willing to be seen. There is a difference between being present and being available. He has been present his whole life. He has not been available. He has been showing the world a careful, curated, protected version of himself, and then lamenting that this version does not generate the connection he needs. Tell him that the real version of him is extraordinary, and that the world is waiting for it." Eleanor recounted that the man cried with that particular relief of someone who has just received permission to stop pretending. And then, and this is the part I need you to hear, the subconscious said something else, something that Eleanor said she had never heard so clearly before, and that she spent the rest of her career trying to communicate to as many people as possible. It said, "Every soul that has ever felt invisible chose to become invisible, not out of cowardice, because of an old wound that convinced it that the complete truth of what it is would be too much, too strange, too brilliant for the world to be able to hold. Tell him, tell them all. The world is waiting for the complete truth of what they are, not a performance of it, the real thing, because the world cannot find its way back to itself without the light of the souls that are still hiding? Are you hiding any part of the complete truth of what you are this Sunday? This question deserves to be sat with calmly. There is a door in your life that neither effort, nor intelligence, nor planning, nor willpower can open. It can only be opened from the inside, and the only key that fits it is genuine, embodied, present gratitude now. Not gratitude for what you deserve. Not gratitude offered as a transaction, as the spiritual equivalent of putting coins in a machine hoping something will fall out. Not the performed gratitude of someone trying to feel the right feelings to attract the right results. The gratitude of a soul that for a single instant stopped measuring the distance between where it is and where it wants to be and simply fully, without reservation, allowed the present moment to be enough. The gratitude that says, I am alive, I am conscious, I am here. And this by itself, before anything else is added, before any prayer is answered, before any miracle arrives, is already in some way everything. Eleanor Vance discovered, throughout 4 decades of sessions in which she accessed the deepest truth available about the human experience, that gratitude was not a spiritual practice. Her clients were taught that it was a state of consciousness that their higher self was perpetually trying to bring them into. The subconscious, speaking through person after person, from the soul level, consistently described gratitude not as thanks for specific things, but as the fundamental recognition that existence itself, the simple and staggering fact of being here, of being conscious, of being capable of love, beauty, and meaning, is the miracle. Everything else is detail. She said, when a person finds genuine gratitude not for what they have, but for what they are, something happens at the level of consciousness that I can only describe as unlocking. It is as if every request that person has ever made to the universe, every prayer offered, every longing carried, everything suddenly becomes accessible, as if gratitude were the code the universe had been waiting for before it could open the door. This Sunday, practice gratitude not for what you are waiting to receive. Practice it for the receiving itself, for the fact that you are a soul in a human body, on a planet that is alive, watching a video that was sent specifically for you, on a day that was always going to be this day for you. That is the miracle that was guaranteed. Everything else is what comes after you recognize it. I will give you a practice now. Not complex. It does not require equipment, nor preparation, nor a perfect morning routine. You can do it in the next 5 minutes, where you are, exactly as you are. Eleanor Vance, from the accumulation of thousands of sessions in which the subconscious repeatedly offered similar guidance on how human beings could access their own higher wisdom more directly, distilled a method she taught in her final years as the most consistently effective tool she had ever found for real and lasting internal transformation. She called it the opening. And it works precisely because it asks almost nothing of you, except the one thing that is hardest to give, your honest presence, without performance, without management. First, permission. Before anything else, give yourself permission out loud, not in your head, with your own voice, even if in a whisper. I give myself permission to receive. I give myself permission to be reached. I give myself permission to let in today something I have not been letting in. Second, honest inventory. Close your eyes. Take 3 slow and deliberate breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then, without judgment and without editing, ask yourself, what have I been asking for that I stopped believing will arrive? Let what comes, come. Do not argue. Do not revise. Do not replace it with something that sounds more spiritual or more appropriate. The raw, honest, real thing. The thing you might be ashamed to say out loud because it seems too small, or too big, or too specific, or too personal. That thing. Hold it in your consciousness for 30 seconds. Just hold it. Third, surrender in trust. Now, and this is the heart of the practice, say these specific words out loud, with your hand over your chest. I believe this is arriving. Not because I see the evidence, not because I have certainty, because I decided this Sunday in this body, with this faith, to trust the intelligence that is conducting my life. I release my way of wanting it to arrive. I release my timeline. I release my version of what this should look like, I receive what is actually being prepared. I trust that it is better than what I asked for. Then breathe once, long, slow, complete, and release. Genuinely, not performatively. Release. Fourth, the gratitude that precedes the miracle. With your eyes still closed, feel or reach for the feeling, even if small and uncertain, gratitude for the result as if it had already arrived. Not for what it will look like or what it will feel like, just the silent and private satisfaction of done, of received, of it arrived. Hold this for 60 seconds. Let it be simple, let it be fragile, let it be real, even if real means barely perceptible. A barely perceptible and genuine feeling is worth 10,000 perfectly performed emotions. Fifth, the living declaration. Open your eyes and, for the rest of this Sunday, on this specific day, in these specific hours, every time doubt returns, every time the old story tries to reassert itself, every time your mind starts to compose the list of reasons why this will not work, stop. Take a breath and say, silently or out loud, the wheels are already in motion. I do not need to see, I trust. 5 words. The wheels are already in motion. A mantra for a Sunday that was always going to change something in you. Eleanor Vance spent the last years of her life documenting what she called waves of volunteers, souls that, before entering a human body, chose to arrive in this specific era of human history, not randomly, with full awareness of what they were choosing, with complete understanding of the forgetting that would come along with incarnation, of the challenges that would define the experience, of the particular loneliness of being a soul calibrated to a frequency to which the world around it had not yet arrived. They chose it because they understood something that their human version would spend years trying to remember. That this specific moment in history, this extraordinary, decisive, genuinely unprecedented convergence of consciousness and possibility, needed a specific type of soul to be here for it. It needed those who can feel more deeply, love more completely, hold faith for longer, and with more honesty than those who never had to build faith from scratch. The people drawn to this type of message, who feel a cellular recognition in these words rather than mere intellectual agreement, are those souls. Not as a compliment, as identification, as the specific and practical truth about why you are the way you are, why you feel what you feel, why the world has always seemed a little too small, too loud, too dense, for the version of existence you always intuited to be possible. You are calibrated to a frequency to which the world is still arriving. And the loneliness of that, the particular and private loneliness of vibrating at a frequency that not everyone around you can keep up with, is not a defect in you. It is evidence of your purpose. And it is, however painful it has been at times, the exact preparation for what you came here to do. Let me say one more thing, the most important thing, the thing that every teaching, every session, every truth recovered from the deepest levels of human consciousness has always been trying to say in 1,000 different ways. You are loved, not conditionally, not approximately, not by the universe if you get everything right, perform correctly, become enlightened enough, go through enough trauma, and reach the level of spiritual development that finally makes you worthy of what you have been asking for. Loved completely, permanently, without reservation, without condition, without the slightest possibility of revocation. Loved in the places where you hide, loved in the story that shames you, loved in the doubt that makes you feel like a fraud for watching a video about faith, loved in the anger you feel for a universe that made things harder than they needed to be, loved in the grief you have not yet finished feeling, in the hope you have not dared to fully believe in the silent, stubborn, remarkable insistence of continuing to reach for something real in a world that does not always make reaching easy. Eleanor Vance said, "At the end of 45 years of accessing the deepest truth about thousands of human souls, in all of this, all the lives, all the dimensions, all the pain and the beauty and the impossible complexity of what it means to be human, I never found a single soul that was not loved. Not one. Love is not something the universe offers. It is what the universe is. And you are made of it. All of you, including the parts you are still trying to accept. This Sunday, let this be enough. Let this be what you carry when the video ends and the day continues and the world makes its demands. The knowledge that you are already, before any miracle arrives, before any prayer is answered, before any door opens, already completely, unconditionally sustained. This Sunday was not common, it never was. Something was always going to happen in you today. Some silent and irreversible unlocking that looks like nothing on the outside and changes everything on the inside. It happened because you stopped. Because something in you recognized something in this. Because the soul that you are, this extraordinary, ancient, carefully calibrated, deeply purposeful soul that chose this life, this body, this Sunday, recognized its own frequency in these words and stopped, and in that stopping, something moved. Before you close this video and return to the rest of the day, I need to remind you of one thing. You heard about the holes in the field. You felt deep in your chest that there was some truth there. The prosperity magnet is waiting on the other side of this link. 28 days, the way it needs to be done, in the order the subconscious needs, so that the universe stops pouring abundance into a sieve. If you felt the call, if something in you recognized that the time has come, click. Not tomorrow, not on Monday. Now, while the frequency of this video is still open in you, the link is just below. And write in the comments, I still have faith, as a declaration to the universe on this specific Sunday, as a sign that you are open, that you are here, that you are willing to receive what has been coming your way for longer than you know. Go with lightness into the rest of this day, with the certainty that something in the invisible and beautifully precise architecture of a universe that has never, not once, stopped caring about you, has just moved. The miracle is not arriving. It is already here. And you on this Sunday, on this day that was always going to be this day for you, are finally in the exact place to receive it. Happy Sunday, beautiful soul. This day was always yours.